Hey guys, JC Theater Yu-Gi-Oh here, coming at you today with a Fire Fist Zodiac deck profile. Now, as you can see, the synergy between these two are that they're both Beast Warrior and that they both like to Xyz summon. I really like this deck. I actually played Yu-Gi-Oh! I started getting really into Yu-Gi-Oh! Around Zoodiac format. I never got the cards until like a week before they were banned after they came out in the Megatins, but this is the only deck I've ever played Zodiacs in, and obviously it was after all their good cards were hit, so that kind of sucks. And Fire Fist was actually, I would say, before my time, quote unquote, because they were definitely relevant when I was like in late middle school, early high school, when I just wasn't that into Yu-Gi-Oh! At the time. So this is kind of like a blast from the past with a little bit of more future, and I don't know, I just really find this deck interesting. So enough of my rambling, let's get into the deck profile. So first up for the Zoodiac monsters is going to be one Zoodiac Bunny Blast. When she's destroyed, you can target one Zoodiac card in your graveyard, except itself, and add it to your hand. And then if she's an Xyz material for a Beast Warrior Xyz monster, once per turn, you can negate a spell effect by removing an Xyz material from that monster. Next up, we play one Zoodiac Cataroost. When he's destroyed, you can target one Zoodiac card in your graveyard and shuffle it into the deck instead. And then, similar to Bunny Blast, but instead of spell cards, it's going to be monster effects. Finally, it's going to be two Zoodiac Ram. And Ram is when it's destroyed, you can special summon one Zoodiac monster from your graveyard except itself to your field, and then it's the same as Cataroost and Bunny Blast, except it deals with trap cards instead. Now for the 3-of Zoodiac monsters, we play 3 Thoroughblade. When Thoroughblade is normal or special summon, you can discard one Zoodiac card, and if you do, you can draw one card, and then if he's an Xyz material for a Beast Warrior Xyz monster, that monster gains piercing damage. And finally, to round out the 3-ofs, we have the 3 Zoodiac Whiptail. Now, Whiptail, you can target one Beast Warrior Xyz monster you control, and you can attach it from your hand or field to it as material, and then if it is an Xyz material to a Beast Warrior monster, when that monster battles an opponent's monster after damage calculation, you can banish that opponent's monster. Now for the Fire Fist monsters, we run 3 Brotherhood of the Fire Fist Bear. Now once per turn, when this card inflicts battle damage to your opponent, you can set one Fire Formation spell card directly from your deck, and once per turn, you can send one face-up Fire Formation spell or trap you control to the graveyard to target one monster on the field and destroy that target. I honestly hardly ever use the first effect, but that second effect definitely comes in handy. If anything, you can search it with Tenki, summon it, and pop a card on the field. Another 3-of Brotherhood of the Fire Fist is going to be Caribou. Now, I do hate that it's in the end phase, but if he's destroyed and sent to the graveyard that turn by a card effect, you can special summon one level 4 Fire Fist monster from your deck except itself, and if this card's sent to the graveyard for the synchro summon of a Fire Fist monster, you can set one Fire Formation spell card directly from your deck. We do run tuners in this deck, so that second effect does pop off here. And on top of that, its first effect, since obviously we have Zoodiac, so we have Zoodiac Barrage, which pops things, this effect actually does go off sometimes, and it is nice. The only thing I don't like is they kind of balanced it too well by making it happen during the end phase instead of immediately, which would be really great. Next for the 1-ofs for the Fire Fist is going to be one Buffalo, which if he's in your graveyard, you can send a total of 2 Fire Fist or Fire Formation cards from your hand and or face up on your side of the field to the graveyard and special summon him from the graveyard. He's pretty decent, and to get a body on board, to be honest, I don't get him off too much though, so that's why he's only a 1-of. And then finally, the Fire Fist card you never want to draw is the Rooster. This is the only level 3 fire monster in the deck, so if this card gets drawn, then you can basically kiss Brotherhood of the Fire Fist Horse Prince, which is the synchro monster in the extra deck. You're not going to use it if you draw this guy, because when he's special summoned by the effect of a Fire Fist monster, which would be Horse Prince, you can add one Fire Fist monster from your deck to your hand, and then you can, once per turn, send one face-up Fire Formation spell or trap card you control to the graveyard, and set one Fire Formation spell and trap card directly from your deck. Finally, to round off the Beast Warrior theme here, we're playing 3 Reborn Tengu. Now, I didn't honestly think of this card at first, but after actually seeing some deck profiles in the OCG incorporating Tengu into Fire Fist decks, it is really good and really helps out with not only Link plays, but also Synchro plays, the few that we have in here. Definitely when we get the Fire Fist Link monster one day in the TCG, I will be ecstatic, and it will make this deck just that much better and that much more Link friendly, so to speak. And finally, the last 3 monsters in the deck are going to be 3 Red Resonator. Now, when he's normal summon, you can special summon 1 level 4 or lower monster from your hand, and when he's special summon, you can target 1 face-up monster on the field and gain life points equal to its attack. Now, that first effect was the only reason we have this card, is because he's level 2. So what you do is you just normal summon him, and then special summon out one of your level 4 Beast Warriors, so you can special summon Brotherhood of the Fire Fist Horse Prince, because he's level 6. So you have the level 2 Fire Tuner right here, and then plus all of the level 4s in this deck, and that's a 1-card Horse Prince for you. Now let's move on to the spells and traps. For the 1-ofs, we're going to play 1 Monster Reborn. And then for the 3-ofs, we're going to play 3 Resonator Calls. And this is just to get that red Resonator out, so that way we can go into Horse Prince. Now for the Fire Formation cards, we're going to be playing 3 Fire Formation Tenzu. What this card does is basically a double summon. During your main phase, you can normal summon 1 Beast Warrior monster in addition to your normal summoner set, and all Beast Warrior type monsters you control gain 100 attack. Plus, he's a Fire Formation card, which works well with the Fire Fist that we do run in the deck. Of course, no Beast Warrior deck would be complete without 3 Fire Formation Tenkis. This is the continuous spell card Rhoda of the deck, and when this card is activated, you can add 1 level 4 or lower Beast Warrior type monster from your deck to your hand, and all Beast Warrior type monsters you control gain 100 attack. Now for the Zoodiac monsters, we have their all-important Zoodiac Barrage. Now with this card, you can target 1 face-up card you control and destroy it, and if you do, special summon 1 Zoodiac monster from your deck. And you can only use its effect once per turn, and if this card is destroyed by a card effect and sent to the graveyard, you can target 1 Zodiac Xyz monster you control and attach it as Xyz material. This definitely helps tutor out all the Zodiacs in your deck. You can summon a Zodiac, destroy it, gain that effect, as well as special summon another from your deck onto the field. It's definitely a playmaker and definitely really good for Zodiacs in general. And plus, like I said earlier, there are some other cards in the deck that can go off by being destroyed. The final 3 cards in this deck are the most controversial, in my opinion, to myself, as in I'm most conflicted using these, is the 3 Xyz gift. I know this was hyped during Zodiac format, but never really played. I feel like now, especially with Link monsters, there's less chance that this actually goes off, but when it does, it is very beautiful. Now for the extra deck, I'm going to be playing 1 Firefighting Darumidal. This is the Beast Warrior, and Wing Beast Link 2 with the downward left and right pointing arrows. Now this card gains 100 attack for each Beast Warrior, or Wing Beast monster on the field, and once per turn you can target 1 spell and trap on each field and destroy them. So since the Fire Formation cards are continuous spell cards, once you use their effects and you don't care about that extra 100 attack, you can destroy them in order to destroy a spell or trap on your opponent's side of the field. And when he destroys an opponent's monster by battle, you can target 1 of your Beast Warrior, or Wing Beast monsters that is banished or in your graveyard and add it to your hand. I don't really use him for battle much. The main thing is the link arrows, because other than the red resonators, all the other cards in this deck are going to be Beast Warrior. Next up is going to be one Mrs. Radiant. Now, Mrs. Radiant is in here because you do have the Zodiacs, which are all Earth. Now, the next card can be, I believe it's Doolittle Chimera, but for now, I have Land for Linkus instead. Doolittle Chimera is the fire version of Mrs. Radiant, so that way you could use the Fire Fists, but I have Land for Linkus in here because sometimes you have Red Resonator and a Zoodiac in your hand, and if you summon that, you can get to a Land for Linkus, just in case you don't want to use one of the 2 synchro plays that we have in the deck with Red Resonator, and you want to link it off instead. For the synchro plays, we have arguably the most important synchro in the deck, which is going to be Brotherhood of the Fire Fist Horse Prince. Now, when this card is synchro summoned, you can special summon 1 level 3 fire monster from your deck, which is going to be Rooster right here. And then you can, after you synchro summon this card, you can't special summon any level 5 or higher monsters for the rest of the turn, which means you can't play the one other synchro monster in the deck, which is Vulcan the Divine. Now, Vulcan, the only reason Vulcan's in here is because, first off, I think his artwork is really cool, which I know doesn't determine playability, but if you happen to have Red Resonator and another Beast Warrior monster, one of the level 4s, and you want to make a level 6 synchro, but you somehow have the Rooster in your hand or it's in your graveyard or something, this is just another card to go into. When this card is synchro summoned, you can target 1 face-up card you control and 1 face-up card your opponent controls and return those targets to the hand. So you could even send Vulcan back if you want, even though I don't see why you would since it is 2000 attack, but to each their own. Maybe it's to clear up the extra deck space, or the extra monster zone space. Next up, we have Brotherhood of the Fire Fist Cardinal, which is 2 level 4 Fire Fist monsters, and you can detach 2 Xyz materials from him and target 2 Fire Fist or Fire Formation cards in your graveyard and or face up on your side of the field, and 2 cards in your opponent's graveyard and or face up on their side of the field, and shuffle those targets into the deck. So basically, it lets you pump 2 of your Fire Formation or Fire Fist cards from your graveyard back into the deck to recycle, and bounces 2 of your opponents into their deck. Tiger King is a really great Xyz monster. When he's Xyz summoned, you can set a Fire Formation card directly from your deck, and once per turn, you can detach 1 Xyz material from him and negate the effects of all face-up effect monsters currently on the field, except Beast Warrior type, until the end of your opponent's turn. So this is basically a skill drain, and it doesn't affect any of your Beast Warrior type monsters unless you're facing Lunalights or something. I'm pretty sure this is gonna mess with your opponent quite a lot. And when he's sent from the field to the graveyard, you can send 3 Fire Formation spell or trap cards you control to the graveyard to special summon 2 level 4 or lower Beast Warrior type monsters with the same attack from your deck in face-up defense position. So you can basically recur him into another Xyz monster. For the Zoodiac cards, I play 2 Chakanine, 2 Hammer Kong, and 2 Tiger Mortar. I also play 2 Borbo, but I don't really care about him being on the screen. I'll put him, there you go, right on top there. See, the reason I play Borbo is just another Xyz material, and for those of you who don't know how Zodiacs work, is you just need 1 Zodiac monster on the field in order to make an Xyz summon. So you just have one of your main deck Zodiac monsters, and then you overlay that with one of the Zodiacs, and then another of a different name, and then a different name, and then a different name, to kind of stack up on top of each other. That's why Dryden and Broad Bull were so powerful, because Dryden would remove an Xyz material and pop something on the field, but then you'd have a big stack of an Xyz monster. Now, these guys can only be special summoned once per turn. That's why I only run 2 of each as opposed to like 3 of the better ones. Tiger Mortar, its effect is they all gain attack and defense equal to the combined attack and defense of all the Zodiac cards attached to them, by the way. So none of the Zodiac main deck monsters are really that powerful, though. The strongest is 1600. So with a Thoroblade and with a Snaky Boy, whatever his name is, Whiptail, sorry, when those two are on there, they can equal up to 2800, which is pretty decent, and plus it'll have piercing and banish anything it destroys, so that works out well. But Zodiac Tiger Mortar, once per turn you can detach one Xyz material and target one Xyz monster you control and one Zodiac monster in your graveyard, and attach that Zodiac monster to that Xyz material. And then Chakanine is once per turn you can detach one Xyz material from this card and target one Zodiac monster in your graveyard and special summon it, but for the rest of this turn it has its effects negated and it cannot be using an Xyz material for a summon. So that's kind of iffy, but it does help feed some link plays. And then Zodiac Hammer Kong. While this card has Xyz material, your opponent cannot target face-up Zodiac monsters on the field with card effects except this one, and once per turn during the end phase, detach one Xyz material from him. So he kind of helps protect himself and all the other Zodiacs on the field. This deck is definitely cool and interesting, and I really like the themes involved with it, so that's why I run it. Do you have any tips? Leave them down in the comments below. Remember to like, share, and subscribe, and thank you so much. This has been JC Theater Yu-Gi-Oh! See ya.